How's it going? Kenny here, and I'm out for a quick little ride around. This is kind of my local spot, and today is a little bit more colder than I expected. I think the sun just hasn't been out enough. Man, have I got a complaint that I didn't realize when I started riding a motorcycle, and that is death is everywhere. I've never seen more death on a motorcycle. I mean, I've seen a fair bit of death. I spent a fair bit of my younger years working on a graduate degree. I've got a Master of Fine Arts in photography, and I did my thesis project on death, and maybe it's one day we'll kind of get around to discussing that. Oh, it's fogging up on my visor too because of the weather. But I think I might have to get my pass out for the gate here, but I might continue my conversation. But one of the things that they don't tell you when you get on a motorcycle and the things you're going to see, and it literally is, it's everywhere. I've only been out riding for what, maybe the most part of, at the most, a month on a regular basis. Let me just check in here. Total alcohol management. Hi there. Got a pass. Thanks. You too. So, the thing I want to discuss today, I have confirmed my first kill on a motorcycle. And this is not a thing I want to brag about, but I've killed more things on two wheels. And maybe just because I'm seeing it rather than not seeing it behind a four-wheeler. But here's the story. This happened about a week ago. I was coming out of my neighborhood early in the morning, about 7 in the morning, and this is a residential neighborhood. I'm just kind of cruising, and I saw a red squirrel, just out of the grass, right in front of my tires, probably about, where this rock is about now. And I've had close calls with squirrels coming across me, and what I do is I just initially you gun for the brakes, you run for the brakes, and I was reaching for the brakes, and I just knew it was not gonna be a serious threat, and I've literally seen chipmunks dart across the street to freedom, and then come back and then get run over by my car. So I was just like, I don't know how I should react, and it's better kind of err on the side of safety. Just take it as it goes, right? And sure enough, I don't get on the brakes, I roll it, and I just felt this bump thing under my tires, and I came to a stop at an intersection. And I had to pay attention to the traffic ahead of me. But as I rolled by and made a turn, I looked out, and the squirrel was, sure enough, dead. And at least it was a humane, I believe, kill, unalived, this red squirrel. And thinking back on it, like, I don't know what else I could have done. But having said that, like, I have seen dogs on the road, and I may have just arrived, 5 minutes after the incident, and someone was on the street tending to this dog. I don't know if he was alive or it made it, but, cars were stopped, and people were concerned for this dog, who was obviously someone's pet. They don't tell you that when you get on a motorcycle and you ride, and the stuff you will see. And you see a lot of it because it is very visceral and it's so close up. So I kind of want to share that story because it's going to happen. And I hope you're safe when it does, because, generally a squirrel, a rabbit, these are not huge major threats, but they are rather busy this time of the year. So, yeah, ride safe, ride with your limits, take your time. I wasn't going particularly fast. I got out of bed, I got on my bike, I was going out, and I was probably going to grab a coffee somewhere or an espresso. And I had I was awake enough, but I was not anticipating a squirrel to just kind of run out in front of my motorcycle tire. And I've heard people jokingly say that if you see a deer, your initial reaction should just be to gun for it. Like, aim towards the animal you're going for, because there's a good chance it's not going to be there by the time you get there. I don't know if that's myth or truth, or if there's anything to be said about that, but I've heard that story. Yeah, the things you see on two wheels, and look, not to say that motorcycling is particularly dangerous when it comes to murdering small animals or accidentally, but I have ran over snakes on a bicycle. I have ran over turtles on a bicycle. And please, like, none of this is really something I'm proud of. It's just things that have happened, and people may not say, or you might not hear about it, but, this was an incident that happened about 2 years ago. I was going down a hill, fairly quick speed, and because of the speed and the rate I was descending, I obviously had to pay attention to my surroundings, and a quick look at the road, and everything seemed pretty okay. And then as I rolled down and I hit the bottom of this hill, all I felt was a crunch, and like right away I was like, it had to be a turtle. Yeah, and also what I assumed was a stick. As I ran over, I saw it kind of shot up, and it moved, and I was like, oh, fuck, that was a snake. Look back, and it's kind of withering away, yeah. Look, there's a lot of things you learn when you try new things, and I was not expecting this much on a motorcycle. So there's my story. I am probably going to find a spot to pull over and try my little camping setup, but I wanted to find a little awning like this in case it rains, because it's not the nicest weather. But I have been coming out here, Guelph Lake, and finding decent little spots to park my canoe or park my car and dock and dip my canoe in the lake. So I've been taking little runs out here to see if I can find a better good spots to dip the canoe in. So I'm going to go ahead and try and find a spot to make some coffee. People might find a lot of pleasure in riding a motorcycle. And I'm going to tell you something. Maybe I'm just morbid, but I think about death a lot on a motorcycle, and not in a kind of morbid way. And as I was doing my MFA research, and it was a really kind of weird time in my life, because I spent 2-3 years dealing with a lot of readings and practices around death. And there's a Buddhist tradition where every day they recommend you meditate on death, and it's not to go to a dark place with death. It is really to ponder on the existence of life and your life and what that may mean. And I think about it a lot, and I don't know why, particularly on a motorcycle, just because I think it is one of those things you think about when you could still commit 110% of your mental energy. Like I do a lot of riding around my bike, but I also seemingly am able to access, I don't know, like primordial thoughts, basic, I don't know, like we're talking like snake brain level, reptilian brain level thoughts. I think about my mom a fair bit. There is something about being on a motorcycle, traveling at such speeds, and being in this chaos of moving through the world that connects me to those very primitive, I want to say primitive because I'm not overly thinking these things, these thoughts. And in the Buddhist tradition, it is a fairly healthy thing. I have spent some time around the idea of death, and I will probably talk about this in my later recordings when I talk about, the thesis work I've done for my MFA. But I remember talking to someone at a natural burial cemetery, and someone mentioned, maybe one day you just wake up and you're just like, I'm okay with this, and that's just it. But until then, you have these thoughts. That's it for my little spiel. I think I'm gonna go find a place to. This seems like a good spot. One of my favorite spots to kind of park my bike and make some coffee. So yeah, thanks for listening. Cheers.